It's Monday. Welcome to a new week. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, to my regular subscribers. Welcome to anybody who's here for the first time. My name is Alita and I share prophetic words that the Lord gives me through dreams. I love Mondays. If you didn't know by now, I do. To me, it just means a fresh start, a brand new week, a chance to do things even better than I did the previous week. So let's get into today's video, guys. So today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm sure you can already tell by the title that something's different. It is. I feel like the dream that the Lord led me to today, one of the dreams I had recorded on, I've got a date for this one, I do it to July 22nd this year. Sorry guys, there was a distraction. Anyway, like I was saying, I think I was talking about how, yes, the Lord led me to a dream, and I would be lying if I said I knew what this dream means 100%. In fact, I know that I'm gonna need help with this one, so you guys are gonna help me today. We're gonna do this together. I really sense very strongly that the Lord wanted me to bring this dream on, even though I didn't fully understand it. It just feels like it needs a mindset shift. And you know how we are. You know how human beings are with mindsets. Like when we believe certain things and we hold on to our beliefs, it's hard for new things to enter, like things that are a bit radical. But you guys will hear the dream and then we will figure this one out together. I have bits and pieces that I believe the Lord has shared with me, but I do believe that He wanted me to bring it on here as well so that you guys can share whatever revelations you have. We're going to do this one together. But before we get into it, as usual, guys, it's so important to remember that not every prophetic word is meant for everyone. It's so key to take it before the Lord and have Him confirm any prophetic word that you hear with Him. Just let Him give you confirmation. And for some of you, this may be confirmation of something He's already been showing you, which is great. I still encourage you to pray. I only have a little bit of the story. I don't have the full story. I think it's in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, not sure which verse, but it talks about how we prophesy in part and we only know in part. We don't have the full story. So really, I still encourage you to get your answers from Him, strategies from Him. Any direction that you need, get it from Him. His voice should be the main voice in your ear. Okay, let's get into this dream, guys. It is a long dream, so I really need you guys to just bear with me and really pay attention to it and pay attention to what the Lord drops into your spirit, because like I said, we're working this one out together. Okay, so in this dream, I remember that I was on the road, on a street somewhere, and I was in a car with family members. I think it was my mom, my sister, if I remember correctly. And there was this weird vehicle that was coming towards us. And the person driving this vehicle had a very unique set of clothes. His attire was interesting. He reminded me of the Joker character in the Batman movies, but he didn't really look like that. He just reminded me of that character. So I wouldn't say he looked like the Joker. He had on a top hat, so one of those long ones, and it made me think of the Mad Hatter. And I remember this hat was like this neon color. I need to just quickly make a note of that neon, because the Lord just dropped something in my spirit. So that when we get into the interpretation, I don't forget. So it was a neon, like green, and he had on this colorful suit as well. It was, a full-on suit. And he's driving this contraption of his, and I remember him driving into us, and the way he ended up, or we all ended up, was that his contraption was now under our car. So the front part of his vehicle was sticking up out in front of ours, and the back behind the back of our car. And I knew that this was a dangerous situation. I knew that he was trying to perform some kind of magic, some kind of experiment. That's a very key thing that came up as I was thinking about what he was doing in the dream, it was like he wanted to perform an experiment with us, and I was thinking we need to get away from this. But then he did what he did with his magical tricks, and next thing we were no longer on the road. We were in this place that I cannot even describe. That's why I say this dream is on another mindset level, because I'm like, I don't even know how to describe the place where we were at. It's like nowhere I've ever seen before. And so we land up in this place, and we're in this like muddy situation. It did not look like mud, guys, but that's the best way that I can describe it. It felt like that kind of thick consistency. It was wet, it was thick, wasn't mud, but that's the best way I can describe it. And we were kind of like starting to sink into this mud, into this muddy thing, which was also all sorts of colors, and it was like almost like an acid, so it was making our clothes like disintegrate. And then I just remember just thinking, I need to use my voice, my authority here, and I just said, no, this is not it. I just said no, and then next thing we were pulled out of that. Our clothes kind of magically came back. They were restored, and then we were now in this other place, which is still in the same place, but now like we were in this Mad Hatter, I'll call him that, in the Mad Hatter's like lair, his lab, and there were all sorts of little bugs, little germs. That's the best way I can describe it, that he had created. All these germs in containers that he had created. There were big ones, there were medium-sized ones. And I remember reading certain labels, and I forgot what they said. And then the one label that I do remember, I thought it before I read the label. It was on this tiny little germ, and it said, the smaller they are, the more dangerous they are. And I thought that before even reading it, and that's exactly what was written on this particular container with that tiny germ. And then I was like, no, again, I felt the need to use my voice and say no to all of this. Like, no, this cannot be a thing. It cannot come forth. It cannot be birthed or whatever. I was just saying no to the situation. And then I remember seeing a door, and I said, we need to get out of here. And it was this large like wooden door, and I opened the door, but before opening the door I was already feeling a bit fearful, like I didn't know what I was going to find on the other side. But again, I got that like sudden power in me to say, I actually don't care, I'm not afraid of what's on the other side. And I said to the door, open, because I couldn't find a way to open it. So I spoke to it and I said, open. And the door opened, and me and my people went in, and that door closed, and it was like this very short passageway, and there was another door at the end of it. And I went to that door and I said open to that as well, still feeling like I'm not afraid of what's on the other side. So we get to out that door, and it's like this open area, and there are these like stairs that almost like fire escape stairs, like the outside ones, and I could see something spying on us. So I start to kick it, because I'm like, I don't want this thing following us and spying on us. So I kick it, and it falls, and kind of, I don't know what it is, it's just a creature. And then someone who was with me says, oh my goodness, that was your egg. And I just remember looking at them thinking, no, that's not my egg, that's not my anything, that has nothing to do with me. All I know is that was something evil. Now then we keep moving, and we get to this place where it's like this whole different world, right? But it's not like what can I say? It's not like, you know, how you see in alien movies. It just looks like a different world. So there are these hedges that are like all shaped in this shape. So they're in rows, but like in this triangular shape. So you can kind of go behind each hedge as you walk. And I remember starting to feel scared, because I was like, oh my goodness, we actually shouldn't be here, because the people that are here, so the people there had like these large noses. So I have a largish nose naturally, but it was different. It didn't look quite human. So they were human, but their noses were like, you know, like the beak of a bird, but fuller, just like really pronounced. Really just like the nose would start, so the bridge would start here, and it would just go out like just a bit further than normal, and then come back in. So like this beaky kind of look, but not quite a beak, you know, just proper flesh, a nose like you would. expect a nose to look, but just in terms of shape, it was very different. It's like nothing that anyone has here on earth, I would hope. So I started to get like this flashback, like this has happened before. This coming into this other world, this other dimension, this has happened before. And I was starting to feel a bit apprehensive, like we are not welcome here, we shouldn't be here. And then as I was about to, as I was thinking all these thoughts, I noticed someone who looked like us. She had a normal nose, and I recognized her, and the way I recognized her was that I was with her daughter. So now everyone that I was with was not just my mom and sister, there were all these other people, right? And all of a sudden I had this young girl who I had adopted because she had lost her mom. And now I'm seeing her mom in this other place, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's her mom. So I go up to her and I'm like reuniting them, and the mom is so happy to see her daughter. The daughter doesn't seem to remember her mom though. She's a bit like, I don't know what's going on here. Not in a negative way. Her mom didn't feel evil at all. I was actually quite relieved, and I started to feel less afraid after seeing her. And so the mom was so happy to get her daughter back, and she was saying she doesn't understand why she doesn't remember her, because it's not like she left or disappeared when she was a baby. She was old enough to remember. And I just want to say, before I move on to the next scene, just want to make sure I cover this scene properly. I realized that all of this had happened before, but it was the other way around. It was like I was getting all these memories of these people with the strange noses. Sorry for all my hand signals. So these people with the strange noses had kind of come into our world, and they were not well received. They were persecuted. They were not well received at all. It was like their lives were in danger. They were killed. They were persecuted. And now it was the other way around, where and I just want to say before that they had come into our world, and they had also gone through this other place that I've been to that I can't describe, with the lab and that funny muddy stuff. And they had gone through a journey of tribulation like that to get to our world, and were not well received. Now it was the other way around, and I thought we were not going to be well received. But after seeing that mom and seeing that she was now in the community, and realizing that there were more people that looked like us, just normal noses basically, integrated into this community, I realized that they were actually not going to do what we did to them. They were more graceful and more kind and more receptive of us and accepting of us. So that was a very key thing about that scene. And now I get this I don't want to say flashback. So I get like a vision of people back in our world, right? So we're in this new world, and I'm seeing that we're accepted and everything. And I've reunited this mom and her daughter. I get this vision of back in our world, and where God takes me in this dream in terms of the vision is where this young girl's father is and that woman's husband is. And he's like in this like a trench, like a pit, and there are many people lying in this pit, and it's like they're hiding. It's like a war zone, and they're like hiding in this trench. And then someone enters, but he's in all black. He was actually reminding me of a previous dream I had, where there were these people in all black, and they were evil. They were actually demonic. They were demonic beings, not even people. So this guy comes in, and I'm thinking, okay, he does not look right. And the father of the girl that I just reunited with, her mother, he kind of sits up, and I'm thinking, don't sit up, that's a bad guy. And then I remember waking up. I woke up from the dream, and then I went back to sleep again. And what I noticed was that this man who had come in the blackness, he was disguised. in the black. He was actually a friend, and he was coming to help somehow, because now he had kind of like rubbed his face off, and you could see that it was like this charcoal that he had put on his face to kind of blend in out there, and he was coming in from out there, whatever was happening in the world. And that was where the dream ended, guys. What a dream. Like, it blew my mind. When I woke up from that dream, I was like, okay, this is a very exciting dream. I loved having that dream. I loved how I walked with such authority through the various situations and overcame them, even though it seemed so almost impossible and dangerous. And coming to this new world where I thought I was going to be rejected or killed, and actually being accepted, and seeing that a lot of people were starting to integrate into that world coming out of our world. Guys, now do you understand why I say that I struggle to even just fathom what the revelation in this dream is? And I really sense and believe that the Lord wanted me to bring the dream anyway, even though I don't have the full revelation. So I'm going to share with you what he dropped in my spirit, and I would love for you guys to also put in the comment section what the Lord dropped in your spirit about this dream. So the Mad Hatter, to me, I believe is either a person or an organization that is orchestrating an evil in this world, that would use the masses in an experiment of some kind. And guys, we know that right now there's this whole situation with, I'm going to call it immunizations, because I just don't want to use that other word. There's so much controversy around it. And, you know, people are calling it an experiment. So I don't know if the dream has to do with that, or an even bigger experiment, or more experiments to come with the human race. This man wearing that hat, you know, I thought of the Mad Hatter. So obviously someone who's not sane of mind, someone who's evil. And not that I'm saying people with mental disorders are evil. I'm not saying that. But this particular person or organization, that's what the Lord is saying about them. And that neon color, I learned many years ago that seeing bright colors in the dream normally means that, you know, it's a dream from the Lord. But neon colors can actually represent something that is trying to look nice and bright and good, but is actually like a false it's like an angel disguised in light. You know how the devil will come as an angel disguised in light. So that's the revelation I got when I was sharing about the neon color. And then just these experiments, right? I believe that the Lord is going to expose a lot of them, or at least give revelation to a lot of you, in terms of, you know, when we were like transported into this other place that I can't even describe, and being able to see the various germs in the containers, the big ones, small ones, and how the smaller they are, the more dangerous. And we know that viruses are really, really tiny. So again, I'm not sure if the Lord is pointing to another pandemic that may be coming, or stuff that is in the woodworks that they're going to try and use to experiment on people. And again, this is all the plan of the enemy, Satan himself. Okay, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Our fight is not against human beings. It is against spiritual hosts of wickedness. It's against the kingdom of evil. So we need to be careful not to divert any anger or animosity towards a human being, but rather to fight in the spirit. The Lord is calling us to fight in the spirit, and I believe that means speaking the truth. I believe that means warfare prayers. I believe that means standing up and saying no to a lot of these things, but on the spiritual realm, telling the enemy, no, you cannot do this in my community, on a spiritual level. So I hope I'm making sense. The fact that I was with my mother in the dream, and she was kind of like, she was prominent in the dream in terms of, I felt her power, and I felt her leadership, although she wasn't exactly leading, but I felt like I was being led by her in the dream. So she representing the Holy Spirit in this dream, just moving in the spirit. And which is why I believe the Lord even gave me a dream of flying recently, because it's when you dream of flying, it's representing you moving in the things of the spirit. Sorry, I'm stumbling there. I was just trying to form my words. But it's a representation of moving in the spirit on a higher level. And the Lord is saying that we have power and we have authority in this time to say no to the plans of the enemy. As the Lord reveals these things, we should fight in the right place and not in the wrong place, as I've already mentioned. So me being able to say no to certain things in the dream and then seeing our clothes being restored, is because I use that authority. And, being in that lab and saying no to all of these things that seem to be created, also to be used as experiments, saying no to that and going through certain doors. And it's almost like when we overcome these things, when we use our power and our authority and we say no to the plans of the enemy, I believe that what the Lord was showing is that we will get to this is where I struggled. I'm like, Lord, my mind can't conceive where you are leading us to. And which is why that place that I ended up in was so different. It had the beautiful green hedges and it was like organized beautifully, but people were free and happy there, even though we had integrated into another race, another whole type of race in the dream. So I don't want to say too much because I don't actually know what the Lord is showing me through that, and I'm just praying for more revelation. And if you guys get revelation on that, please share. But it's like even that last scene with the Lord giving me a vision of everyone back on earth, or in our world, being in the trenches, just being in a state of war and having to disguise themselves in order to kind of like overcome what the enemy was trying to do. So it's like the Lord is showing us what's coming, and I believe that a lot of the symbolism in this dream is still to be revealed to us, but I believe the Lord wanted me to put it out there so that it's almost like this mass revelation, like not just through me but through many of us would get revelation. I got a sense that the larger noses in this other race of people meant like a greater discernment. A nose, you smell things, you pick up odors, and it's like that sniffing, when a dog sniffs, they're trying to pick up on something and understand stuff. So it's like the nose representing discernment, so a larger nose being that greater discernment. But that's all that I have. I really, really am so keen to hear what you guys have to say, and I really encourage you to pray into this word and share what the Holy Spirit reveals to you. I'm not saying that it's all going to be 100% correct. We are all still learning to hear the voice of the Lord, but it would be so great to get your feedback on this. So guys, I will catch you in another video. I really pray that this one has blessed you, and I will catch you in the next one. Always remember that God is a good Father. He loves you so deeply because you, my friend, are so special to Him.